Brodes Media.
Yeah! Wow, what a weekend. Now, before we talk about the Phillies, I do want to formally welcome my great friends over at Amelio Cigars. I mean, take a look at this puppy. This is beautiful. This is outstanding, and I can't wait to celebrate the sweep over the Toronto Blue Jays with this puppy in my backyard. Amelio Cigars, little bit old school roots, a little bit of new school attitude, locally owned, third generation, and made at the Fábrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. So this is the real deal. This is legit. Woo-wee! I brought a box right here sitting in front of me. I brought a box of these cigars to a golf outing with my buddies. They were in love. They couldn't believe it. They said, Brodes, in what world do you know about these cigars and not tell us? I said, listen up. Listen up. There's only one cigar to smoke out there, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, and that's my friends over at Amelio Cigars, available at many fine tobacco shops, and you can ask for them. Also, the link down below in the description will bring you right to their website. Listen up. The best cigar to ever touch my lips. You hear me? The best cigar to ever touch my lips. Amelio Cigars. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. What a weekend! Taking all three from Toronto. It's the best you could ask for. 5-1 on the homestand, including taking 2 from Chicago, following the nightmare that was Pittsburgh. Pretty damn good. Strong showing. Not a needle mover. I'm waiting to watch what transpires after Miami, Houston, and the New York Mets. That's needle moving. There wasn't really anything the Phillies could do. They didn't do a bad job. They didn't do anything wrong. They just have me into a million pieces. And while they are theoretically taking steps in the direction of putting me back together, it's a lot of work to do. So that's the best way for me to describe it for you, so you can visualize it. They're trying to put a hot glue gun out there to put me back into one. I'm shattered after some of the baseball I've seen from them. But there was a lot of good this series. Let's start with the starting pitching. My God, was that fucking filthy. Wheels, tremendous, no doubt about it. Hey, how are you? Who's your father? You know what I'm saying? This guy just shoves. Ranger, Sanchez, strong pitching performances. And your bats got rocking. Look, 2 out of the 3 wins were no-nonsense games. 8-0 on Friday night. Easy. It was a breeze. It was a no doubt about it. And same with this 11-4 victory on Father's Day. The only weird game was Saturday, where you needed a clutch-as-hell Max Kepler bomb. And on top of that, the only real offense you got was because it was walk, walk, hit by pitch, walk, walk, hit by pitch, walk, walk, hit by pitch. Just a blow up. But you better take advantage when other teams start to urinate and vomit all over themselves. You did. You did. And that kind of reminded me of Max Kepler against the A's. Need it, gotta have it, big balls. Send CBP into a frenzy. They sure as hell know how to play in front of their home crowd. That's for damn sure. Their record in front of these fans is out of this world. Good for them. Some other fun stories. Kemp, he had 4 hits today. Scored a couple of runs, knocked in a couple of runs. Here and there, there's a little hiccup. Maybe an error at first, a scoop he could have had. But when he's giving you life and giving you juice and giving your team some energy without Bryce Harper, right? Moves across the diamond from third to first without Bryce. You live with the learning curve moments because he's providing enough spark for you. It's fun watching him. You had a Nick Grant salami. He was set up to have two. I thought he was going to send a piss missile to left. I really did. I thought we were going to see 2 in one game. Holy hell. He did get robbed of, what inning was that? Man, the left fielder just ran full straight Aaron Rowan style into the wall. His eye black left a mark on the damn mat. I thought the dude was concussed. I thought the dude had to leave the game. They showed the close-up of the trainer coming out. Thought he lost a couple of jibs. Thought he was going to be spitting out a couple of his chiclets onto the grass. It's a hell of a catch. Sell your soul for that catch. But yeah, Nick was set up for a wild day. For a, what's going to happen in this world? Because whenever Nick does something crazy, call the family members and check in. You know what I'm saying? But we only had the one grand salami. So we can all breathe for our family. What else was there? Bohm? Bohm hit the best home run I've seen him hit since becoming a Philadelphia Philly. And it was really important timing because Phils are up 4-0. It then leaks to a 4-2 game. And then bang, he hits a 2-run shot to gain a 4-run lead again. So no, Toronto doesn't have a little bit of momentum. You shut it down instantly. You kill it. You regain separation. But the way he really did square up that baseball, that may have been the hardest hit bomb from Alec Boehm that I could remember in a long time. And he had a hell of a weekend. Now, it makes me wonder, do we actually have a serious weapon, Alec Boehm? Or is this just what we get? The high, the lows. And forgive me, I forget who exactly said this on Twitter, but, I'm sort of paraphrasing it a little bit. It went a little something like this. This team is good. They're never as bad as you think they are bad when they're losing ugly. And then when they're winning really well, they're never as good as they are when they're doing this. They're just wildly, insanely up and down. Well, that's a problem. Because when you're down, that could be when it all gets clipped, when it all really falls. And when it's October, you don't have the luxury of, hey, it's 162. No, you don't have that. And that's what's really damaging me, is that is a good way to describe it. That is who they are. They're probably never as brutally disgusting as we lay it out when we instantly react to a bad 6-game stretch or to a bad road trip, but they're not as good as when they put up 11 runs and then they win 11-4 or they win 8-0 or they sweep a Blue Jays team because they follow that up with absolute hot garbage. And then they show their deficiencies. Bad defense will pop up in a couple of games. Ugly, quiet offense, chasing bad pitches. You're going to see a 3 or 4 game sequence of that. And they can't be this elite juggernaut squad for a long period of time. And that's the scary part because you don't have the luxury of time when it's the playoffs. And I know we're not supposed to fast forward, but I do both. I live in the moment and I look big picture. This doesn't change anything big picture, but it changes something in the moment. Because after Pittsburgh, I couldn't believe it. I was honestly ready, hair by hair, to rip all of my hair out with that piece of crap series that they gave me. But all right, while the Mets aren't doing their best currently, and you look at the standings, you make up some ground, that's good. That's good. You have a Miami team that you should be able to crush coming up for a handful of games. Good. Keep it rolling, baby. Into that 6-game window that I'm really highlighting. I want to see you respond to what the New York Mets did to you by pantsing you in Citi Field earlier this season. Oh, I need some serious answers. And with the Houston series, just an opponent that we have some hate towards because of a few years back. Now, I guess the question becomes, and we don't really know exactly where Bryce Harper is physically and when he's exactly coming back, but to get Kemp in the lineup, how do you make that happen? Is it throw him into left field? And now he's playing left field. Are you platooning that? So now we're platooning left, platooning center, and Bryce Harper plays first base. And you have Kepler in against righties. You got Kemp in against lefties. And that's what you're going to ask your outfield to be. You're going to have 5 outfielders for 3 positions. That's where it irritates me, because that's just not championship caliber baseball in my eyes. But that's what they're going to have to do, I guess, to keep his presence here. But according to Rob Thompson before the game, the range of motion in Bryce Harper's wrist is, quote, almost back, and he's not sure when Bryce will be throwing or swinging. So I don't know if this is going to take a long time for him to feel great. Is this going to be a super quick transition from not throwing, not swinging to, hey, I'm back, let's go? There's a bunch of videos of him taking ground balls but not doing anything with it, just dumping it into a bucket essentially after he takes those ground balls at first base. So there's that happening. But yeah, I mean, this could be something long. And, if they're winning games, can you make the argument that it makes a lot of sense for you to take your time? What's the rush? What's the rush? If you could win regular season games without Bryce against teams that we're watching right now, you should be able to beat Miami without him. Now, I'd rather have him than not. But my point is, if time off isn't really going to fix the issue, and the only thing that's going to fix the issue is some sort of surgery, some sort of real work that gets done. Because remember, I'm all dating this back to last year. He had the problem, had an all-off season, came back this year that automatically started to hurt him. So the off season didn't fix it. So time doesn't seem like it's going to be what fixes it. It feels more than that. So this is something about maintaining the level of pain and playing through the pain. I don't see the benefit of him being forced to come back early if your team's still winning games. But I guess if time off isn't really going to fix the issue, then at some point, you just got to have him back. So I don't know. Maybe that's stupid. I'm just speaking out of my ass here to try and figure out the best way to move forward with Bryce. I want to make sure he's in the best position possible, but I don't think it's just time that fixes this, because he's going to end up coming back. He's going to feel the wrist again at some point. Maybe it takes 3 games. Maybe it takes 4 games. Maybe it takes 5 games, but it's going to be equivalent to the offseason. He may feel good when he's not in the pure form of every single game, getting 4 at-bats or ripping through an entire season, but once he gets into the flow again, your wrist is going to bother you because there's something actually going on. You know what I mean? And especially with this medical staff right now giving us a bunch of nonsense. I mean, it starts with the ankle for Aaron Nola. Now he's got a stress fracture, but it was once labeled as a stress reaction. Now it's a stress fracture. Can't even say it. Now I do think he's actually injured. I think they were trying to hide something. I think they probably leaned on the ankle injury more than they should have. I think maybe something happened in Cleveland. If you remember the timeline of him making sure his body's still in control and making sure he's feeling good for his next start and all. I think his ankle was giving him some discomfort. Then they leaned heavily on that, trying to figure out the rib stuff, trying to hide the rib stuff. So they do play that game. I wonder if that's what's going on with Bryce, where they're just trying to hide some things. It's hard not to feel that way, considering we never really got a full taste of the Bryce Harper experience yet this campaign. He's just been okay. He hasn't been superstar. But your team's taking care of business right now, regular season-wise. Without him, you have to leverage that the best you can. But if he's just going to have to play through the pain anyway, and time isn't really going to heal anything, then maybe it doesn't make sense to try and live and survive and keep your head above water without him because, well, it's inevitable. This season is inevitable. He's going to have a wrist problem that is causing him a ton of discomfort no matter what. I guess if you want to limit the amount of time it hurts him, then you push him back as long as possible. But there's that. Yeah, the Nola thing, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a long time. And I know fans don't care because they didn't like what they saw from Aaron Nola and because the strength of this team is the starting rotation. But again, losing 200 innings when he is healthy and doesn't have a stress fracture, that's an important piece to the puzzle. And it all impacts the very thin bullpen. Because at some point, some of these names we're discussing, I heard Ruben Amaro, who does the Saturday morning show with Devin Caney on WIP. They do a nice job Saturday mornings, and he was talking about how great Ranger is, and it all depends on who's pitching hot at the right time when it's September. So it's all moving, and it's all sort of interchanging until we really get to that time of the year, and then just whoever's playing great is going to be pitching, and guys are going to get thrown into the bullpen. But you know, with Ranger, he wouldn't be surprised if he pitched the last pitch of the season, meaning if he was closing out games in the playoffs. And that's Ranger, who's just shoving 7 innings, who you know can pitch scoreless ball, who you know is thriving. But one of Rube's biggest concerns is my biggest concerns. I've seen him capable. I've seen him capable of performing this well. It's what happens when he starts eating a lot of innings. What happens when he starts putting a lot of miles on the tires? What happens when you try and ask him to overcome some of his innings pitched in previous years? That's when he hits that wall, and that's something you have to monitor. All right, now let's talk about my great friends over at Green Lawn Fertilizing for a second, shall we? You know I'm obsessed with my lawn. It's my favorite thing about my house. I've been a homeowner now for about 5 years. For the first 4 years, I didn't pay attention at all to my lawn, and it needed to recover big time. So who did I go to? Green Lawn Fertilizing. They sat me down and they educated me on the proper steps that we needed to take to get everything back on track, and I can't thank them enough for that. And even to this day, we're on treatment number 3. We're waiting for treatment number 4. It doesn't happen overnight. It needs time and it takes a process, but boy, oh boy, where we are now from where we first started is night and day, and I'm really falling in love with the way that my grass is transitioning. But the other day, I saw some brown spots, and I said, hey, what exactly is going on here? I would really like to know how we are going about business with these spots. And they say, Brodes, it's perfect. Don't worry about it. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. We killed the weeds, and now that we killed the weeds, we're going to start planting some new grass, and it's going to look beautiful. It's going to look luscious. It's going to be green, but we had to take care of business with what was happening first. Don't worry, this is how it's supposed to look. Boom, it's perfect. They really do teach you what's happening with each step. And right now, Green Lawn Fertilizing, who are the experts in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, by the way, and are extremely knowledgeable, they are offering 50% off your first 2 treatments. That's right, 50% off your first 2 treatments. And you could click the link down below in the description to get started. Okay, you want to take some calls? Why don't we? Let's go to Sean on the Anytime Hotline to kick off a call here.
Hunter, first of all, happy Father's Day to you, and happy Father's Day to all those listening. Happy Father's Day to me. If anybody wants to send gifts or cash my way, please do. Solid homestand for the Phillies. Solid win today. Glad to see a starting pitcher finally get some run support and win a game that he should win. Otto Kemp, not looking lost up here. I know there were a lot of people that I talked to on the internet that told me, oh, this guy's going to come up and do nothing but strike out. This guy's another Weston Wilson. I don't think so. I think his bat is much better than that. No, I'm not saying he's going to be a batting champion or anything like that, but I think he's earned a spot on this team, even coming off the bench. So, again, solid homestand. Got to carry that over into Miami, which is nothing basically more than another home series for the Phillies, because there'll be more Phillies fans there than Marlins fans. And then we gear up for the big one against the Mets.
Thanks, Sean. I greatly appreciate it. And yes, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. It's a hell of an experience on this side of Father's Day. So it's remarkable. It really is a very, very fun day with the family, and it's just amazing. So yes, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. It truly is a special one. So I want to touch on the Otto Kemp and the Marlins thing first, real quick. The only issue when it comes to Marlins, though, when you go on the road and you hear a lot of Phillies fans in opposing teams' ballparks, like for the ones that travel to Pittsburgh, for example, yeah, it's loud with Phillies fans. When it comes to the Marlins Stadium, and I don't know if I just have this weird PTSD of watching Vince Velasquez and the Nick Pivetta era of being in that Miami ballpark. I don't know why that's what hits me most when I think about playing in Miami. I have no idea why. There was one time I went to my good buddy's house. It was in the middle of summer. He was like, "Oh, Brodes, I'll throw the game on for you. I know you got to work and whatnot. Just pay attention. We'll keep it on as background noise." And we were all hanging out in the kitchen, living room. It was background noise. It was Vince Velasquez. It was a dead-ass stadium. So that always sticks with me for some weird reason. But you mentioned Phillies fans. I'm sure there'll be Phillies fans here, but it's almost like there's no fans. None. And it's always weird watching. It's always a terrible viewing experience. Yeah, there's no such thing as Miami Marlins fans. There's no such thing as a fan base down there. But it's not as if it's one of those you go on the road and you can hear Phillies fans overpowering the other team's fans, and there's a good chunk of people in the stadium. It's just blah. It's just dead. It's just blank. It's just quiet. It's just nasty. It is a strange experience. So, with the Phillies' view of it, you got to internally find that fire. You got to internally find that pop. You got to play inspired when it's almost as if you're playing Little League again in front of nobody but your parents, because that's sort of the vibe that you get whenever you travel there. Granted, it's an NL East opponent. They've seen Miami quite a billion times already, so they are accustomed to it. But still, it is strange for sure. Now, Nick Castellanos on the spark that Otto Kemp gave the Phillies, quote, "He's got a lot of fire and he's living the dream right now. Fresh in the big leagues, a lot of energy. He gets to the ballpark 8 hours before the game starts. It's just fun to watch." I agree with you, Sean, that I think he is better than a Weston Wilson. I don't know exactly what he is, but right now when someone performs like this, his story is remarkable, right? Undrafted, 25, now here he is. To get to this point is magical. Now he's here and he's getting 4 hits in a game. No matter if they're singles, no matter if this and that, 4 hits is 4 hits when you're just getting a call up, and your team is looking for something to spank them in the ass. Your team is looking for something to grab onto, and you never know what it's going to be. And yeah, there are times where I look at this team and I wonder, are they that desperate? Are they that desperate where it has to take an Otto Kemp? And maybe. But if Otto Kemp is here and he arrives and he gives you what you're looking for and you bite into it and you let it go for a ride, then that's what you have to do. And they are doing that right now. I think it's super fun. You know, I'm down on a lot of different areas with this team. I saw Trey Turner make a defensive play and then everyone go, "Wow!" Dude, we're doing this? He gets a standing ovation for one backhanded play in the hole? I mean, seriously. Let's not act like the guy's Derek Jeter making those throws 24/7 all of a sudden. Or is Jimmy Rollins, okay, up the middle playing defense because he makes one spectacular play. He filters those in. He just also filters in the ones that make you want to... Oh. Brodes, deep breaths. This is about Otto Kemp. We're supposed to be talking positive about the player that you think he is, and it's going to come with ups and downs. It's going to come with a pick that he should have at first base, but I'm with you. Right now, he looks like a real ball player. In every at-bat, he looks more comfortable and more comfortable, and that's all you can ask for right now. So credit to him. He's one of the only things that I'm actually finding a lot of joy in with this group. I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, here is Rob Thompson on Zach Wheeler. Oh, sorry. This is Rob Thompson and Zach Wheeler talking about the impact that Otto has since joining the Phillies. Excuse me. Take a listen.
What kind of spark has Otto Kemp brought since he's come up here?
Yeah, a lot of energy.
He's had great at bats, really has. And I've talked about it before. Like whenever a guy comes up for the first time, it just creates some energy in the clubhouse because guys are excited for him.
What type of impact has Kemp been made since he's joined the team?
Yeah, it's nice. He's a good ball player and swings the bat, and he can play a few different positions. So, he's bringing a little spark to our team, and it's always nice when that happens.
All right, nice and classic and basic out of Zach Wheeler. I didn't know what his answer was. I was curious. I didn't hear this. This post-game audio is coming out now as I'm recording, so I just wanted to hear. But a little basic stuff for sure. So we did get an update on Andrew Painter, because Andrew Painter has been sort of all over the place with some of his games. His last 2 starts were not very effective, and they were not pretty. But he did have a bounce-back effort in this one. So Andrew Painter went 5 innings, no runs, allowed 1 hit, 2 walked batters, and 6 Ks. And that was with 72 pitches. So still a pitch count where he can continue to go into the game. He probably could have went 6 or obviously 7 innings at that point. I didn't follow exactly what went down on why he only went 5, but no earned runs and only allowed 1 hit in his 5 innings of work, which is significantly better than anything that we've got over his first 2 starts. So that's sort of where I'm at with this. I'm not going to dive too heavy on it. Essentially, to put a bow on it and to give you a little finishing summary, they did everything that they were set out to do over this homestand. All right, you go 5-1 against Chicago and against a team like Toronto who was playing good ball before entering your ballpark. You sweep Toronto after the Pittsburgh style. It's what you're supposed to do. You just left me in so many pieces that by no means is one homestand going to be enough to grab me all the way back in. I think they did what they were supposed to, but this wasn't a needle-moving moment. I always tell you I look for needle-moving moments. I thought even that A series was more of a needle-moving moment for me than this in a positive direction. I'm just laying it out to let you know that there are times where there are needle-moving moments that are positive for me, whether they end up not being once I watch Pittsburgh or once I watch some of these other series and whatnot. Like sometimes you learn more about the crew, but right now, I'd say the A series was needle moving positively, but what transpired against Pittsburgh, and I get it, look, all good teams have rough spots. All great teams have a series they would like to have back, and maybe over time, that's what the Pittsburgh series will tell me, right? Maybe over time, that's what I will learn about this group, is that little stretch that we really hated and we were angry about and it really bothered us. Maybe that ends up being more of the outlier than it is the norm. But we do know one thing about this team that has been going on for years and years and years now is they are wildly inconsistent. It's almost as if they live in a space where they're scoring 8, 9, 10, 11 runs or they're scoring 0 or 1. It's either they don't know how to defend at all and their bullpen is blowing up consistently, or things start to align for 3 series in a row. They're good when they play their best ball, but it is the worst brand of baseball to watch when they are dysfunctional. And you don't know what you're going to get on a night-to-night basis. And that's what makes it so hard. At this point, the standard cliche is fool me one time, shame on you, fool me 2 times, shame on me, or whatever. At this point, it's 10,000 times. 10,000. And I may not even be giving it enough credit. It may be even more than 10,000 times. I've seen the story. So I know what's on the other side. Just like when they play bad, I know what's following that. Probably something like this to suck people back in. But it's hard to live this way. That's the truth. That's the reality of it. We've seen what championship caliber teams are. Do they normally have that as their DNA? I don't know. They're going to win regular season games, and they're going to win a lot of them. And hopefully they win enough of them where you look at a wild card standings, if they're not a division winner, that They're in this puppy because there's a lot of teams in the National League fighting right now. But they got to get more consistent. Their starting pitching is something that you can hold your hat on, for sure. And as much as starting pitching can help you win and win big and win serious moments, and obviously that is the case, you need a lot of pieces to do it. And we need everything to align. The defense has to be sharp. The offense needs to be clutch. The bullpen needs to be legit. You need all of those phases. That's 4 phases I just mentioned. I feel good about one of them on a night-to-night basis. One of them. That's scary to me. That's where I'm broken. I hope you understand that. That's where I'm fractured. But for the short weekend view and the overhead look at what just went down against the Blue Jays, I couldn't have asked for anything better. They did exactly what I needed them to do. They did their job. You just have to do this for a while to get me back feeling good. And that's what they set up this season to be. So with that, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. I will talk to you all on the next one. Go Phils! What a weekend. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy the rest of your day.